What a crazy couple of weeks it's been. Guys, if you've been following the videos, you probably know that I picked up a 991 Target GTS. That's not the car we're going to be looking at in this video though. The car we are going to be looking at is a 991 Carrera S, the black coupe version, which is for sale. So if you are interested in buying that car, click the link in the description below. Let's get on with the video. The 991 is the chassis code for the 7th generation Porsche 911. This is the Carrera S 991. It was introduced in 2011, which means we've now had 10 years of the Porsche 991, which is actually incredible to think. Let's take a closer look at this car. So this car does have a couple of issues which I want to show you in this particular video. And I feel that giving you this information will give you quite a good snapshot of what a 10-year-old Porsche 911 991 Carrera S would be like. Yeah, okay, this is a 9-year-old car, but there's not going to be too much difference between a 9 and a 10-year-old car. So the things I'll talk about in this car just gives you an idea of what you might expect when you come across one of these if you're looking to buy one. And so the first thing is the fact that the car has just so many vibrations when it's actually driving. Let me open the car up, that would be a good start. Okay, so a lot of the vibrations that are coming from this area here, along the door card, in the door card, particularly this panel here as well, getting lots of vibrations every time the music is being played. So it's not just this door card, it's also that door card as well. What I'm going to do with the door cards is actually remove them at some point very soon and sort of make sure all of the grommets are there, put as much sound deadening in there as possible, because it is really annoying. But not just the door cards, we've also got lots of vibrations on the rear panels as well. So these panels here, both sides again, and definitely something coming from either the roof area or the pillars on the side pillars here. So these really need looking at. They are so annoying, and honestly sometimes I just hate having people in the car because it's actually really embarrassing. Putting the music on and getting so many vibrations, it makes it sound like a 1,000 pound, really 25-30-year-old car. It's really embarrassing, but it's something that I can put right myself, and I can't wait to give that a try. So this is a tip for you if you haven't yet bought the car, but you do need to check the air conditioning, because I made a mistake on this car. When I bought the car, the air conditioner, I didn't check it. I thought it'll be okay. It was in the middle of winter when I bought the car, and of course now it's summer now. I really need that air conditioning, and of course it blows full on hot. So it needs a regas, and I think it's probably going to cost me around about 60 or 70 pounds to get that regassed. Again, not the end of the world, but make sure you check it. The bloody wing mirror is really loose, although there's a camera. You can't really check, you can't really see here. I'm pushing the wing mirror, but when this car's doing speeds of 60-70 miles per hour, this mirror is actually vibrating all over the place. So I've had it before on a different Porsche of mine, so I expect that this mirror will just need popping off. You can pop the mirror off. In fact, you can see how loose it is there. It just needs re-adhesive, but there you go. Didn't mean to do that, but that just shows you how loose it is. Now the next one really all depends on how well the car's been looked after. You know, this is a 10-year-old Porsche, nearly a 10-year-old Porsche. We could be talking about a 10-year-old Fiesta, a 10-year-old Ford Mondeo. It all really depends on how the owner has looked after the car and made sure it's kept in good condition. So this is one thing on this car that needs to be looked at. There's two little bodywork imperfections, so I'm just going to put my finger on it right now, and then I'll remove it, and then hopefully you can see in the paintwork there's like an indentation there. You can see it against the building there, so you know exactly what I'm talking about, that bit there. So that's one small thing. And then if we come on the back of the car, yeah, I mean, I'm really not bothered about this one at all because you can't even see it, but there is a kind of a similar thing going on there. Now I had one of these paintless dent guys look at the car, and he said to fix that you'd probably looking at about 60 to 100 pounds, but it would cost more. What I've got to do is remove the panel, the inside panel, which to be fair I'm going to do anyway because I want to sort that vibration out. So when I've got that panel off, I'll get him to look at that and get that fixed as well. It's just one of those little things that annoys me, but Make sure you go over the car with a fine tooth comb. Don't look at the car when it's been raining. Don't look at the car at night time. Perfect daylight conditions like this are perfect. Now, as you probably know, I've put these Sport Techno wheels on the car. These wheels are in perfect condition, but one of the sets that I did get, the Carrera Classics, they do have a bit of lacquer peeling. That again is not uncommon, so check the wheels, make sure there's no lacquer peeling or anything. You could use it as a bargaining tool if the lacquer is coming off. It doesn't look bad. You can't notice it from sort of this distance, but once you get up close to it, you can see it's sort of peeling away a bit. And yeah, just try and maybe use that as your bargaining tool to get a better price. Now, the paintwork on this car is generally good, but when I got the car, there were a few areas. One was on the bonnet right there, and one was on the rear wing. If you see, well, you won't see it, but it was around about there-ish. There was two big flat spots, which really annoyed me, and it made the car just look less desirable and less sporty and sexy, I guess. But what I've done is I've used a Meguiar's compound, and that has brought the paintwork back to life. So I think you probably may well find a few flat spots of paint or a few swirls. This car certainly does have a few swirls, although you won't notice it on this camera. So I'll definitely recommend the Meguiar's compound. I'll put the link to that in the description below this video. It's a fantastic, it really does bring the bodywork back to life. It's the first time I've used it, and I think it's absolutely brilliant, so definitely recommend that. Now, one final thing with regards to the bad things about this car, again, you may not be able to pick it up, but I'm going to put it's on the inside. There's a scratch on the inside of the windscreen going right down there, and if I go inside, oh, you may be able to see it. I'm fairly confident that is a result of somebody cleaning the glass from the inside of the car, but they've got a ring on their finger and the stupid idiots haven't taken it off. So yeah, just a lesson to anybody really, if they're cleaning the car, take your ring off. So I wanted to show you some of the paperwork from the car, because it has had around about £12,000 spent on it in the last couple of years. There's a couple of ways you can look at it. You could see it as, yeah, it's great that things have been replaced that needed to be replaced and have spent money on them. However, on the flip side of that, you could look at it and say it's quite worrying that £12,000 has needed to be spent on a 10-year-old car. But in a nutshell, some of the things that have been, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll through this, and you can pause it if you need to. I hope it's focusing okay, but in a nutshell, some of the things that have been replaced are the headlights. Both headlights have been replaced. The rear spoiler had a fault. It was fully removed and fully refitted. It had an airbag fault that was fully removed and refitted. Changeover valve, high pressure fuel pump, and a sports exhaust was also fully replaced on this car. So, as I say, it's good that the money's been spent, and if you need to pause this to get any closer looks at this, then please feel free to do so. But the numbers we're looking at, they're 1845, 7,988 and 2,190. So that covers the things which aren't so good about the car. What about the things that are really still good about this car? And are there any things on this car which are still exactly the same as the day the car left the factory? Well, yes, let's have a look at the inside of the car, because the interior on this car is still in absolutely wonderful condition. So the black leather condition of this car is absolutely fantastic. You would normally expect a little bit of wear on the bolsters. This is a 9-year-old car, so this is what the bolsters look like. Still in excellent condition. A tiny bit of wear. That's where you get the most wear, because that's where the driver's going to get in and out of. But let's look at the rest of the interior. You know, it's pretty much unmarked. That's not to say the one you get will be unmarked, but this is a good snapshot, as I say. The roof lining is still excellent condition, and the rear seats as well, all in tip-top A1 condition. The performance of the car is still phenomenal. It's still exactly the same as when it left the factory. You know, it looks sharp, the exhaust sounds absolutely phenomenal. It's sporty, it looks aggressive, and I think I've made a few changes to the car which make it look a little bit better than when it left the factory. Everybody has a different idea on that. And obviously you can do some of the same modifications that I've done if you wanted to get the same out of your car than what you see behind me here. But I have to say, when putting it next to the 997, this car does look more modern. When it's next to a 992, a lot of people think the 992 is a lot bigger than the 991. In fact, it's not that much bigger. It is bigger, but not that much. I still think this car holds the test of time against the 992. The 997 looks dated compared to the 992 when you put those two together, but there's a bigger period of time between the 997 and the 992 than the 991 and the 992. And when it comes to values of these cars, they are holding their own. You probably find these cars now in maybe the low 30s, around about £40,000. That is in the UK, that is. You'll probably expect to find a really good example in around about the £50,000 mark, but that's probably a lower mile example. You could probably get one for, I don't know, maybe 50, 60,000 miles on the clock for maybe about, I don't know, 47, 48, 49,000 pounds. All really depends on the condition and the spec of the car. So there you have it, just a quick snapshot of what you might expect from a Porsche 991 Carrera S. It doesn't really matter what the variant is. What I'm showing you is really how the bodywork will be, what kind of niggles and faults you may well expect somewhere along the line. But I hope it's helped you. I hope it's given you an idea of what you can expect from a Porsche 991. And yeah, it's a great car overall, but you know, any 10-year-old car that you get, you're always going to have some sort of problem, some sort of issue. At the end of the day, you're always going to have to put money into it. So just make your peace with the fact that you're going to have to spend a bit of money, and it will make your ownership a lot better and a lot more enjoyable as well. That's it from me, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you can, hit the bell if you want to see notifications when I make one of these videos. And also as well, I'm on Instagram. I put daily Porsche content on Instagram, so please feel free to give me a follow on that platform. I'll see you on the next video.